So I know it'll be a minute or so, or a little bit before we actually talk about the album review, but Richard had mentioned last week, and I don't know if it was actually on the episode, if it was behind the scenes, that he was curious about like what the top 10 albums were of what we've reviewed.
So
since the beginning of
sure.
time.
Oh yeah.
Well, I actually got
Right,
the
let's
top.
revisit that for God's sakes.
I went and found it, and yes, I'm going to hear about number 5, and Robert won't shut the fuck up about it. But,
will not.
He will never shut the fuck up about it.
It's my own fault. It's something that I did, and I'm upset with myself.
I know, but it still would have been. It wouldn't have been that high, but it would have still been in this top 10. So I did the top 10 out of albums that we reviewed. So number 10 was The Beautiful South with Quench, and that was 15 and a half rainbows. Number 9 was Talk Talk's Laughing Stock with 16 rainbows. Number 8 was Curtis Mayfield, Superfly with 16 rainbows. Number 7, and I did those, I put them in order of when we reviewed them. So the one that was first, that's the first one. Okay. Number 7 was Bob Seger with Night Moves. So good.
Night Moves. Ding, ding, ding.
Good record.
Number 6 was 16 and a half rainbows, was Kaleidoscope, Tangerine Dream. That was pretty recent. Number 5 was 16 and a half rainbows. Single Gun Theory, Millions Like Stars in My Hand. Shut up, Robert.
Is that the one?
That's the one that you.
I barely remember that.
And it's good.
Yeah,
but I know
it was the one with the cabbage patching and the record scratching.
There was no cabbage patching. There was maybe some record scratching. There was no
drum loops were definitely cabbage patch drum loops, and it had the samples of the religious chanting in it.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I remember that one.
Yes,
I remember that one. Yeah, well,
mm-hmm. Okay, number 4 with 16 and a half rainbows as well. Peter Gabriel, Security. Number 3, Tracy Chapman, Self-Titled with 18. Number 2 with 18 and a half rainbows. Y'all, anybody know? Lou Reed, Transformer.
Oh, yeah.
And our number 1 with 19 rainbows. Almost a perfect album.
Because I didn't give it 5.
Huh? I actually,
I don't remember. I haven't given any record a perfect 5.
Oh, I feel you did not give this one. Maybe that's why. No,
Is it
because I
John
don't.
It's not John Grant, is it?
No, he was like lower down. The bottom one was the Aesop that with like 5 rainbows or something. No, it had one. That was the lowest one.
That was lower than Troye Sivan?
Troye Sivan was actually too higher than that. Yeah, Aesop was like the lowest, or Aesop or whatever the hell his name is.
It's interesting, Jose, because in one of the songs on that Tracy Chapman album, she talks about having possessions, like overpriced possessions. Mm-hmm. And I brought that up when we were doing the review about how the album now costs a ridiculous amount of money. And you know, she even mentions
I think most of us paid like $5 for it, right?
I had the CD.
Yeah, I bought it when it came out. It was whatever. And yeah, but you walk into a record store now, it's a $25 used record.
Yeah, I found it like in like 2000 for like $4.
Yeah.
So number 1, Viagra Boys with Cave World with 19 rainbows.
Yeah,
that is our highest ranked.
And I'm gonna have to buy that off the net because it's just I can't find it.
I look for it every time.
For the 100th time, it's in the record store that I.
Nick, look, you guys
buy him the record
here. Buy one and send it to me.
Nick,
I don't care what color it is.
We haven't seen Nick in 50 years. How are you, Nick?
Yeah, Troye Sivan is cute, but that album is like just white boy.
No, and it was we discussed this during the review. Richard and I both thought it was really good when it came out. We did not think that when we listened to it again.
Right? Yeah, I did. I really thought the album was great, but then when I recommended it and then I listened to it again, I'm like, no,
it's just not for me. It's pretty much straightforward pop music for today's audience.
I mean, there's still a couple songs I like on it, but yeah, overall, it's not a good album.
Yeah,
I had I
Great
saw
album.
your shirt, Mike, about Vinyl Me Please.
Yeah.
I got a question about that. What is it worth it?
I don't do it.
Oh.
I just wear a t-shirt.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
the thing is
that
that
kind
they
of thing's
send
not
you stuff that you don't
stolen
want.
honor.
Yeah, they send you stuff. Thank you, Groovy Lisa. See, she knows.
That Vinyl Me Please is not my thing. That's not. I'm not the audience for that. I have, and I don't think you would be either. I think there's too many. We have way too many great record stores here in Chicago. You don't need a mail subscription thing.
Well, they do
for me,
exclusives, right? Aren't there things that you can't only
I
get
know.
there?
They
There's
do
been a
have some
few
really
exclusives
cool
that Vinyl Me Please has done that when I see somebody talk about them, I'm going, wow, that's a really cool issue. But at the same time, I'm thinking a lot of the other stuff that they do, I'm not sure the subscription's worth it.
A lot of it you can just go on and pay a little bit more than what you would if you were subscribed. And that is probably better because a lot of the time you may not want what they're going to send you for the month. Now and I think I mentioned this before, they have the Vinyl Me Parton, which is 12 months of Dolly Parton records.
Oh yeah, we talked about this. Yeah,
them have never been released on vinyl before. Now, I haven't gotten the first one comes this month. I haven't gotten it yet.
Dead Soul.
Oh, you joined? Did you join?
Yes. Actually, Shane joined for me. So thank you, Shane. But yeah.
It's probably perfect for you.
It's 12 freaking months, and they also have one of her other ones just popped up on there too. That's coming out in July. That's not part of the Vinyl Me Parton. So, but not Slow Dancing with the Moon. Not any of my '90s Dolly records. No.
I bought a bunch of their releases in the store. I mean, my local shop has them every once in a while, and they sound great. Great stuff. Their pressings are really good.
Yeah,
and they do.
Oh, my heart! I'm ashamed.
They do like different stuff, like weird stuff. Not weird, but like stuff you wouldn't really think. Like I bought a couple, like the Donny Hathaway stuff. Man, those are great records, and he was awesome. And nobody else is reissuing Donny Hathaway. I mean, just great soul, and it's awesome.
Was that Anne Hathaway's son?
My Fiona Apple title is a Vinyl Me Please.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah,
mine too.
Yeah, so and I think that's the only way it's been released on vinyl.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, and I have like Debrat, that's a Vinyl Me Please. My Salt and Pepper, Very Necessary is a Vinyl Me Please. Shut Up, Robert Fitton. That's going to be my theme for the night.
So
wait, isn't that always my theme?
What about the Walmart exclusives?
They used to be something, and now it's like you get a free laminated backstage pass replica. That's the inside. That's the Walmart exclusive part. It used to be literally it was a color variant that you could only get at Walmart, or it was whatever. Now it's we're going to throw in a replica backstage pass.
Walmart
exclusive. I've never bought one. So.
Actually, it might be
kind of hard to shop in Walmart in Chicago.
Yeah, we don't have any really. You have to go to the suburbs.
I mean, yeah, like 2 years ago, Walmart exclusives might have been something, but yeah, now they're just absurd.
Well,
and then Target exclusives used to, I don't know.
Target exclusives are still something.
It's pretty much though. It's just a different color variant.
It's a color variant. If you're into color vinyl, then yeah.
Oh, but I won't get colored vinyl because it sounds so much worse than black vinyl.
And what's that clothing store?
Sounds fine.
It's stupid people.
Yeah, color vinyl. Black vinyl is color vinyl.
Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot.
The only thing I've heard is if you have a color vinyl and it is a split vinyl, sometimes
Right.
there's a click on the split. That's the
Yeah,
only thing
yeah.
I've ever
I
heard.
haven't. I only have a couple
I've
of those,
noticed
and I
that a
didn't
couple
notice
of
it.
times.
I've only have a couple too, and I've never noticed that.
I didn't notice it either.
But I've never
I've
noticed
also
like
heard
a
that-
red
Never
record
noticed.
sounding
Other
worse
people
than
are
a black
saying
one.
it, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've also heard that with these splattered ones. People say that these splattered
Yeah,
ones.
there's a
But I
there's a
haven't
little
had any
tick.
issues.
I've never had any issue.
tick.
Yeah.
Not recently. I mean, no.
But I only hear it when I'm using my headphones. When I am playing it through my speakers, I don't hear the clicks or ticks
Okay, that makes
going through different colors. When I'm doing headphones, which I have to do from time to time, living in a high-rise apartment, I don't want to annoy my neighbors, despite them annoying me. I'll put my headphones on when I want to listen to something really loud, and then that's when I hear with the splatter vinyl or with the multicolor vinyl, I'll hear those ticks.
Nick, you're right. I bought there was a glow in the dark vinyl a couple years ago for Record Store Day, and my local shop, he accidentally got like 55 copies of what was the alien show with
X-Files?
X-Files. They released like a glow in the dark soundtrack or something, and my local record shop got like 50 of them, and he only ordered 5.
How
He's
in
like,
the
"What am
world
I
does
gonna-"
the De La
He's like, "What am I
Soul
going to
sound?
do with these things? No one's going to buy these." So I bought one for him from him because I felt bad for him. And we brought it home, and Corey and I were playing. It sounded horrible, absolutely horrendous. And that was glow in the dark. Glow in the dark is terrible.
I only have one glow in the dark, and it's a Michael Jackson, and I don't remember it sounding good or bad. It's been a while.
Channel? I gotta go look at their channel, and because they mentioned that there was a particular album that if you held it under a black light, you could see this marbling and swirling in it. It was some psychedelic band. Shit, I gotta go look that up because I have that record, but I don't have a black light so that I can check and see it.
I'm not 16 anymore. I don't have a black light.
Right. It's like
I never had.
But when I was 16,
you
couldn't
I
watch.
had all kinds of
You
posters.
turn on that light switch, and the whole room was black lights.
Were they Bob Marley posters? Because most people I knew that had black light posters.
No, I had this one
Yeah.
poster that said, what
It's
if they
true.
gave a war and nobody came?
You have one in your bedroom, you turn it on, you're like, whoa, I
Yeah.
gotta change those sheets.
When I went to see the Viagra Boys a couple of weeks ago, I bought a concert poster there. And, I bought a concert poster, and I got home. I just put it in a frame, and I opened it up. Blacklight friendly.
Oh, blacklight.
So I'm like, well, damn it. Now I need a blacklight. It's sitting right there on the floor. That's a cool poster.
Well, you can buy the cheap bulbs. They're
Yeah, you can just buy the bulb. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'm 55. I don't need a blacklight.
And can you drive 55?
and they're not that all good for your eyes.
No. You've seen me drive
That's true. I have. Mm-hmm.
in pouring rain.
Yeah, in pouring rain.
I hate driving in the rain, especially at night. That's why I don't own a car anymore.
We had some storms this past week. I got stuck in a storm driving on the expressway. I had to pull the car over and just sit there for like a half an hour. It was coming down. It was bad.
Yeah.
I had to drive through a lot of freaking snow when I was driving.
Now we're sounding like fucking old people.
Now we're sounding like old.
What's the album review?
Well, now you're talking about fucking old again. 1971. It's older than me.
It's Bill Withers, Just As I Am, on Sussex Records from 1971, featuring the hit Ain't No Sunshine.
When She's Gone.
A little creepy.
Song.
I was 13 years old when that record came out.
I was -2 when that record came out.
It was -1.
No.
Should we review it?
Oh, let's fucking review it, and then we can
talk
get
about
on
music.
Or do you want to
Okay,
talk?
so yeah, that came out in 1971, and yeah. There's
That's
Bill.
all you have to say,
I don't
Robert.
remember
And
who's
yeah,
supposed to go first.
Robert.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're first.
Well, okay,
it's
so yeah,
that's
this is
That's
right.
your review?
This is right in my wheelhouse, obviously. So it's not no surprise. My review won't be a surprise, but yeah, I really like the album. I'm familiar with it long before we're doing this or whatever, and so yeah, I've heard it several times, and it's one of my favorite. Well, he's one of my favorite singers. He has a very kind of pretentious kind of sound. He sings with a real emotion and a real, you get a sense that he's being real. It's not like this boys to men bullshit where I'm feeling it, horse shit. It's a real thing, and he's a real person. He was a very interesting person. He didn't get into the music business until he was in his, I think, early 30s or
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
And he was kind of behind the scenes, at the
late
beginning.
20s. Did everybody
Yeah.
freeze?
You did.
Okay, we're back. He was a very interesting person. He didn't get into the music business until he was in his early 30s or late 20s, something like that.
His early
He
30s,
Yeah, he was in the Navy for 9 years, and then he worked for an airline company installing toilets on the airplanes. And that photo on the front,
Oh,
the left side of that airplane factory, holding his
Really?
lunch box.
yeah,
That's
his
a
lunch
real
box.
thing.
Yep. I read that.
And so, yeah, I mean, he's the real deal, and he sings like somebody who's been around and knows a thing or two. And like I said, he's not trying to impress you with all his vocal acrobatics. He just sounds real. My favorite song in there is probably Grandma's Hands, probably
Uh-oh.
Harlem is another great one. Wayne's a little bit. I don't believe the song about I hope she's happier now or something. That kind of comes off as some bullshit. Nobody really thinks that. Everybody hopes their ex is miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or rolled over in a ditch somewhere.
Right. Well, that'd be miserable.
Yeah, get over there. Get in that ditch, bitch. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a poet.
You don't want to hear anything nice about your ex. But yeah. So but yeah, it's a stellar album. It's very sparse. It's rhythm and blues. It's a rhythm section, and it's a guy singing the blues. I mean, it's the purest form of rhythm and blues there is. But yeah, I love it. It's great. The song, the big hit is "Ain't No Sunshine."
Yeah.
It's a little creepy if you pay close attention to it,
A little bit.
because he says "I know" 26 times.
Oh,
I
And if
know, I know, I know,
Right.
I know, I know.
You
If
count
somebody says "I know" 26 times, what does that tell you?
they don't know.
He don't know.
Well, if they're like, I know, 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 it probably means they're having like a crisis of conscience. Like, yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know.
Yeah.
26 times.
That makes
What's the
sense.
line right after that?
Ain't no sun. No.
What does he know?
I better leave that something alone or something.
Well, the something is the important part.
I
I
know.
should leave the young thing alone.
Oh, young thing.
If he's really that upset about the young thing, how
Oh
young
my
is this thing?
gosh.
And why are people telling him he needs to
Now I'm
leave?
never going to listen to this record again.
I would have never liked.
So much music though of that
that.
era when you think about it. They were singing about
I know. Yeah, leave the young thing
Happening
alone. But they
young
not, and I'm like,
young
oh,
thing.
yeah, no. Because I've had that 45 as a
She's
kid, and I never noticed that until I was older. That's like,
She's
oh.
20. She's
Yeah.
young. He was 25.
You don't
She's
say
20.
I know 26 times because your girlfriend's 20. Yeah.
Don't ruin that song for me.
Oh
please.
my god, that song's a little creepy. But yeah, the rest of the album is great. Let It Be is interesting the way he does that. The way he does Everybody's Talking. The
Yeah.
Nilsson song is really
The Nilsson
interesting.
song.
Nilsson does it almost like he's in denial. You know, almost
Yeah,
like he's
he probably
hopeless. Almost like it's like everybody's talking. I'm sailing off in the. He's almost like he's delusional. He's like living in a fantasy. Whereas Bill Withers, the way he
kinda
does it,
was.
right, and the way Bill Withers sings it almost sounds celebratory. It sounds like he's celebrating the fact that he's leaving and he's skipping over the ocean and he's going to go. It sounds inspirational, really. So he does a totally different take on that. I usually don't like cover songs, but I really like his version of that. And it's like I said, it's completely different. But Yeah, a great album all the way through. And then the ending song, "Better Off Dead," is actually another song that a song that I've had since I was a little kid. It's the B-side of "Lean on Me," and so I had that 45 as a little kid, and so I've always known that, even as a little kid, that this guy's killing himself, and it ends with a gunshot.
Yeah,
And
man.
so, I grew up with that. So it wasn't shocking to me at all, which I'm sure people hear this whole album and that's the last song and it ends with a gunshot. It ends with somebody killing themselves, just like Life of Agony's River Runs Red. And so, yeah, I will, I would give this 5 rainbows, but I know how much better Still Bill is. So I will give this 4.5 rainbows. Again, probably no surprise.
4.5. Mr.
I
Richard.
don't remember who's supposed to go next.
You are my
You.
lovely darling Richard. Oh,
What is
thank you,
really-
Wheelhouse.
What is really, to me, also critical to this album is the impeccable Booker T rhythm section and Stephen Stills playing guitar in this album. And it's all, none of it's showy. None of it is like out front. It's there supporting, because all the way through you've got Bill Withers' voice that is, I don't know how to describe it. It's so authentic. It's so emotive. It's so meaningful. I really didn't know much about Bill Withers until.
But at the same
one
time,
or
it's
two-
not showy. It's not showy.
Right.
What you just described was perfect. Yeah, no.
He's coming.
I said
I'm
the
sorry, I
same
didn't
thing.
mean to-
Nobody said I was
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, you were on a roll. I don't like interrupting you.
Robert, listen, you're perfect.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm here to stroke your ego. Okay, go ahead.
Craig.
Oh,
I really
Craig.
had never heard of Bill Withers, although I remember in the late 70s, lot of bands, a lot of local bands were covering Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. I mean, you could not go to a bar and hear a live band and not hear them cover that song.
Mhm.
It was, and that would have been like 1979, 1980, so, around there. So to know that this song came out so much earlier was really interesting. And there was a few years ago, Jose James played a free concert in Chicago at Millennium Park. And he talked about Bill Withers, and he talked about how Bill Withers was like his God, his muse. And he did a few Bill Withers covers, the way that Jose James will do a cover. And, that got me interested in Bill Withers. And then, so I have a greatest hits album. And
Which is
that's all I
fantastic.
had. So it is a really good album.
Yeah.
And then when you recommended this album and I was listening to it, I'm sitting there thinking, this is like, one of those rare occasions when a musical artist's debut album is like their perfect album. It's like this is just an incredible album to come out of the gate right away. And like Robert was saying, he wasn't like a 20-something R&B artist. Here was somebody in their early 30s who'd been around the block, and you can hear that in his singing. Harlem, I really love the way the song continually builds in intensity all the way through. I'm not a real big fan of the orchestration. I thought that was, listening to the rest of the album, I really feel like he didn't need that extra production, that extra orchestration, but it's okay. It's tolerable. It's all right. I already mentioned about how Ain't No Sunshine with so many covers. I think Grandma's Hands is the best song, hands down. Grandma's Hands down. Best. It is the best song. It just his maturity and his perspective, and the simple lessons of life that he talked about. Um, the song "Sweet Wanomi" had this very, very like comfortable feel, where he was talking about the fireplace and all that. It just, yeah, very, very comfortable feel to it. Everybody's talking. The music is so simple. The drumming to me on this song is really understated, but it's perfect and that's what I liked about this record. It focused on his voice and ability to his ability to capture you with his voice without a lot of extra instrumentation. The fact that Stephen Stills is one of the guitar players, Stephen Stills is there for support. He's not there for decoration. He's not there for like really showmanship or anything like that, because it's Bill Withers, man. He's singing it. Do It Good has such a smooth groove, and Stephen Stills on guitar is so good. Hope She'll Be Happier. You know what? I actually can relate to that song. I've got some exes that I let them go and said, I hope you're happier now with what's going on. It's I can relate to that song, and his emotion coming through with that song, the sadness, and yet you can hear him, he's letting go. It's just remarkable. Let It Be, I love that cover because he sings it like a church gospel.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm Her Daddy. It's such a real song.
So sad.
I know. He just, it's like he tracked down this woman, and I know we got a daughter. Tell me about her. Tell me about her. It's just
so sad.
And this is where his maturity comes in as a recording artist, because he started so much later. Right. In My Heart, you've got just him and the guitar. I mean, yeah, this is I guess the only reason I'm going to give this 4.5 rainbows is because I really felt with the opening, even though I love Harlem, I kind of felt the orchestration was a little bit overdone and unnecessary, because so many of the other songs are him and just the backing musicians, and it's just him and his voice. It's like you don't need to add strings, his voice is so golden. So I understand now too why Jose James just really, really idolizes Bill Withers. And while I'm very satisfied with the greatest hits I have, this album, I mean, holy shit, this album, I definitely would like to bring this in my collection. So yeah, 4.5 rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
Craig?
It's me.
Hi.
Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Nick will probably get that. Okay. So confession time. I've never heard a Bill Withers album in my life. That's not a good thing to confess, but I will confess it. Although
confessions usually aren't.
yeah, right. Well, thank you, Robert. This. Okay. Anyways, but Ain't No Sunshine has been one of my favorite songs. Robert just fucking tainted it for me because I never thought of it that way. And thank you. Don't make me think of shit like that.
People have told me I have ruined songs for them so many times.
I thank you for
all my
ruining
life.
it.
I used to like that song until you said something like that.
Thank you for ruining. Yeah, I Ain't No Sunshine. Yeah, again, that song is perfection to me. Again, you just fucking tainted it a little bit for me, but I still love it. Eva Cassidy, also, if you've ever heard her cover of that, it's just absolutely breathtaking, brilliant. I actually heard Bill's first. His is better, but she does something with it that is just brilliant.
Right.
Okay. So I had never heard Grandma's Hands until I listened to this. And I heard that opening and I was like, I like the way you work it. No diggity. I got to bag it up.
Right,
I did not know that was a sample of this song. I feel dirty. I feel wrong. I feel like because I never heard the song before. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's Blackstreet. Oh, okay, Grandma's Hands is better. But yeah, I did not realize that Blackstreet sampled that song, and that is bad. Sweet Wynomi, I fucking love it. It's so good. But am I the only one who thinks that the Sweet Wynomi and everybody's talking like the music's the fucking same? It's this almost exactly the same.
I never really.
Especially that beginning. You listen to him right after another. Sweet Wynomi is first, and maybe it's just me. Those songs sound identical. I don't like his cover of Everybody's Talking. I that's the one I don't like off this record. Well, and then Do It Good. My name is what my name is, right? Yeah, Doing It Good. It's corny, but it's good. I love his version of Let It Be. I will not be a secret keeper on the fact that I cannot stand the original. I think it's terrible. I like the Sesame Street version of Letter B, second letter in the alphabet of Letter B, better than the original. I love this because, like Richard said, he fucking takes us to church. It turns us into this gospel, and that is just like, to me, it's the way I needed to hear that song. I don't know why I don't like that. There's a lot of Beatles songs that were very popular that I really don't care for. This is probably the top of that list. I just have never liked it. I just thought it was corny and pointless, but he brought this to a whole new level for me, and I've never heard this version before. We already talked about I'm Her Daddy. I really thought it was going to be a dirty, nasty song, because it's like, I'm her daddy. I'm your daddy, And then I'm like, oh, yeah, we got to get some dirty. And it's this sad, oh, my God, sad fucking song. And I'm like, it was good, but it was not, I wanted dirty. I'm your daddy. And I did not get that. I got a different sentiment on that. But, it's good. Yeah, I don't have it. I said In My Heart's pretty. Yeah, Better Off Dead. We've all said this. Like, wow, very heavy content. He's a drunk. What's crazy about that song though is like it has this groovy beat and this kind of like you're like I'm gonna get it, and the content it's just like, oh my God, this man, he's just, and then the fucking ending where it's that fucking gunshot and you're like, what the fuck did I just listen to? It's like, oh my God. But what a brilliant closer though. I mean, it keeps your mind open. It keeps like, what the fuck did I just listen to? and it was brilliant. So yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to hear more Bill Withers. I've been wanting, like, I actually have had this album in my little, want list for a while, but again, I've never heard it. So yeah, I'm giving this bitch 4 rainbows.
Okay, so this was I looked back on my list of albums that I like suggested for reviews, and I was like, wow, they all have one thing in common. They're all very white and they're all very different, but just I was like, well, I have no artists of color, and I love so much soul, and I love R&B, and I haven't suggested one yet after all of these records. And my favorite soul R&B record of all time is this. This in my collection, in my world, this is a top 10 record of all time for me. I love this record. I love Bill Withers. I love his understated delivery, how he presents his songs, and just his. And you guys, all three of you, I don't know if I can actually expound on much more than what you guys have said, because you guys have all nailed the essence of Bill Withers and why he's so good and so revered. Obviously, everyone knows. Also, before I get into the songs and stuff, Booker T. I mean, your first out, you got Booker T doing everything. You got Donald Duck Dunn on bass from Blues Brothers, actually.
Mickey Mouse.
Well, it's Booker T and the MGs, basically.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
there, yeah.
Right. That was the whole Stax Records studio band.
Can you imagine? That's what you're gonna do, man. Smoking. Everything's smoking about his backup band. Stephen Stills just adds the little extra touch. Stephen Stills. We talked about Stephen Stills earlier. The guy is one of the biggest douchebags in rock and roll. But man, what a guitarist! One of the great underrated guitarists of all time. He is absolutely terrific, and he shines on this album when he needs to. Musically, this album is just I absolutely adore it. I mean, do you guys want me to go through each track? Harlem is great. I do get what Richard was saying about, maybe the orchestration is a little bit over the top. I just love how it starts so just quiet and slow, and by the end of it, you're at this crescendo, and it's
the way it keeps building up. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in Harlem.
It's right. It really does. Yeah. Well done.
No,
Joe.
I don't think he's on there, but
Isn't he? I thought he was.
Steve Cropper? No, I don't know. He's not on there. Because Steve Cropper is a guitar player. So
right. So it'd be Steven Stills.
Yeah. Steve Cropper's not. You get Jim Keltner on drums, who I believe is who Richard was referring to earlier. Ain't No Sunshine, we've heard this song 1,000 times. The Eva Cassidy version is also fantastic. I think Aaron Neville made his solo career on that song.
Aaron Neville did that song? I don't want to hear it.
I'm pretty it doesn't sound much different.
Ugh. God, fucking
So,
Aaron
like Kenny
Neville.
Rogers.
No, that was Aaron. Ugh.
And we've all heard that song in the
Aaron
time.
Neville.
Grandma's Hands.
No diggity.
I still every time I hear that song, I get emotional. It just tugs at you. There's a couple of songs on this album that do that, And Sweet No No. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to what Craig said about that. Everybody's talking. I like this version better than Nielsen. I really do.
The Beautiful South is better than the.
Of course.
God's sakes.
I'm not.
Robert Fifth.
I'm not a big fan of people who attempt to do Beatles covers because majority of them
Most
suck.
of them aren't good.
Most of them suck.
And there's so many. It's like those psych albums. That's like a rule that you had to do a Beatles cover.
But if you're
were
gonna
a local band or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do a Beatles cover, fucking do it. Make it your own. And Paul McCartney wishes that his version sounded like this. But like you guys all said,
Take Me to Church.
Bill Withers,
And he took me to church.
and that's the sound that Paul McCartney was going for. No doubt about it. You can hear it. That's what he wanted. He didn't do it. Bill Withers did. That is a great Beatles cover. Absolutely spectacular. I'm Her Daddy. I get emotional. It's one of those, and I don't get emotional listening.
Where's my tissue?
And there's two on this record where I'm just like, and then Moaning and Groaning is okay, but Better Off Dead is just the perfect closer for an absolutely perfect album. I am doing something that I have not done in all of these album reviews. I am giving a 5-star record.
Whoa!
Rainbow.
I don't think Mike's ever done that.
I've never given one. And to be said, Still Bill, his follow-up, pretty close to a 5-star or 5 Rainbow record also.
Yeah, I need to look more into this.
Oh, Still Bill is just as good as this record. Absolutely. And then his third record, Live at Carnegie Hall. So this guy at age, 28, 30, almost 30 years old, releases 2 albums.
I think he was like 31 or 32 when he made this record.
Yeah.
And then he's at Carnegie Hall. And a Hall concert, if you guys see that record, grab it. It's absolutely spectacular. The great thing about Bill Withers, all his records are impeccably sound. The production, the recording process, the pressings, you cannot get a bad Bill Withers record. The Speaker's Corner that came out
label or vinyl
years ago,
Vinyl.
fantastic. The Mo-Fis of Bill Withers sound unreal. They're really wonderful. If you can see them, grab them. They're totally worth it. His first 3 records are spectacular, and I love Bill Withers. I just 5
He had a real problem with record companies too. Sussex was a horrible label anyway. And then he moved to Columbia, where they just kept screwing him over, and just like he's just finally said hell with it, and just quit doing music, went back to his life.
Yeah, and he passed away about 2020, 2021.
Yeah, a couple of years ago,
2020,
I think.
and it was a heart attack, I think,
Or no, maybe it was
or heart failure. It was 2020.
maybe 2000. I mean, he's been gone a while, but
it was 2020.
2020.
I just looked it up. Yeah.
Yeah, but just and just his vocal delivery, I just adore it. I absolutely adore it. It's beautiful, but he doesn't have a great voice. But just the way he
does.
Oh, I think he does have
a
a great
voice.
voice.
Yeah. His voice is awesome, and it's recognizable.
Spectacular. You're not going to go, Bill Withers. He can. Really,
he doesn't have an operatic voice or anything like that.
I just think that, like I said, he doesn't try to do all these vocal gymnastics, which I find annoying. I don't like music like that where it's, one word has like 17 notes because I want to show you all the notes I can do, and it's like, no.
Go ahead.
That's what so much 90s R&B is. It's just this, I'm feeling it. Okay, whatever, dude.
Dexter. Hi, Dexter. We haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, so I don't know. I could talk about this. I love it. And I'm glad you guys liked it. I had a feeling Robert would like it. It is kind of in your wheelhouse.
It's true.
And I feel like it doesn't get a lot of love. I think people know about it, but they don't really know it. And that's why I suggested it. Because
it was never really reissued on vinyl until recent, until like the 2000s. It doesn't have like an 80s issue or a 90s issue. It only has 2 CD issues. One is just the regular CD, and then it has a dual disc one with the 5.1 surround. So it really wasn't widely available after its initial release.
Another record that they should be doing a record store day release.
Yeah.
Well, you can
absolutely.
You can get this. This is still in print. This is the Speaker's Corner that came out about 5 or 6 years ago. This is still in print. You can find it.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up. It's Speaker's Corner. It's going to be $40, but it's worth it. Absolutely worth it. Sounds great. And Still Bill is the follow-up. Is you guys just as good, and that has Lean on Me, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. That's actually coming out on a Mo-Fi, I think.
Nobody's got an underage girlfriend in that one, so
that. Jeez. It's a good record.
Hey, so Bill got 18 rainbows, so he is tied with Tracy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Album.
So now it's time for Richard to reveal what we're hearing
Oh
next.
my goodness, what is Richard gonna make me
That's three
listen to?
great albums in a row from Mike.
I love the way
Yeah,
you
Mike,
said that,
Mike's
Craig.
been on a roll.
You
Nobody
almost
else
said that
has
with
been, but-
fear.
I
You
was
know,
gonna hate Talk.
It's called Macklemore Avenue, which is where Stack Studios is.
Yeah.
we're listening to Macklemore. What?
No.
no.
I'm answering Marsha P's question.
Yeah.
I know I don't know what I'm being, but that's what I'm being. Richard, please tell me what we're gonna listen to. I am shivering with anticipation.
The last three recommendations here have been really inspirational. I mean, Robert's recommendation with Kaleidoscope. I mean, what an amazing record. Craig, your recommendation was Secret Sisters. What a recommendation was with that. And then this one here with Bill Withers. Each one of them got me thinking about, what I want to recommend next.
Yeah, that's why
which will probably, be.
I believe in you, Richard. I believe in you.
Yeah, we're just going to do Marquee Moon and forget about Richard.
So I was thinking, okay, because I got to think a little more about a record that I would recommend based on Bill Withers, but I know what I want to recommend based on what Craig did, and I know what I want to recommend based on what Robert did. So I'm going to go with Robert with the psychedelic. So I'm going to move the psychedelic music up to the 21st century. And I'm going to recommend that we listen to this one.
What
this
is that?
Is Kikagaku Moyo, Japanese psychedelic band.
What? Kikagaku? What?
What about the one, the Bukaki brothers or whatever?
I own that.
Where's my Bukaki?
He's got an album called the Bukaki Master or something like that.
The Masters of Bukaki.
Yes.
Richard, I'm pretty sure
the Master Musicians of Bukaki.
Yes.
Because I remember when I first started watching Richard's videos, I'm pretty sure you talked about this record.
Yeah.
And I was all over it. I was like, man, this sounds awesome. And then I bought it.
The cover is pretty.
The cover is gorgeous.
Yeah, it reminds me of...
This is a Japanese psychedelic band. They have one more album after this, and then they stop. They're not doing.
K-I-K-A-G.
They've got that song "Too Shy."
Hush, hush, Iowa. Robert,
that's what
you're funny.
And this is available, like on YouTube or whatever, so you can listen to it. That's my recommendation.
Samples. Mike, I'll let you know.
I'll do the Master Musicians of Bukaki one of these days.
Yes, please.
Bukaki.
Bringing back great memories.
M, Richard?
Memory.
Is that under M?
It would be under K.
No, it's Kikagaku.
Right, the name of the band is Kikagaku Moyo, so I put it under K.
No, I would have put it under
K. Okay, and that album is from 2018. They have an album called Deep Fried Grandeur. Grandeur.
They're on this label called Guru Brain, which is a really fantastic label for Asian psychedelic music. It's
Guru. So they make the German label Brain and mixed it with the band Guru.
Right, because there is a band called Guru, but this is Guru Brain, the label.
No. Right, there's also a label called Brain that I think Guru is on.
And they specialize in East Asian psychedelic music. And there's a lot of fantastic releases that they have.
And this is what we got. What is that?
We
The
got
Wall.
the Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab version of Pink Floyd The Wall.
I've
You
never heard
could
of
have come up with something better than that, Robert.
Well, it's from 1979, you know, and
No,
it's a
it's-
MoFi.
Oh,
okay.
it is. Yeah.
Randomly,
Yeah,
just go grab a
Yeah,
CD
well,
without
I don't
looking.
really know what that was for, so.
When
I
that
don't
record,
know either,
when
but-
that album came out,
Oh,
I
Tom's
would, like,
leaving us. Bye, Tom.
Bye, Tom.
It was amazing. And The Wall was truly, to me, at the time that it was released, an amazing album.
I thought you didn't like it and said it was bloated.
No, when it came out.
Oh.
No, when it came out, that was my reaction to it. It was later that I began to realize
having a baby.
that
How bloated it was.
to me there was nothing really. What had Pink Floyd done with this album? They had not really done anything extra. They had not moved the needle, so to speak, like they had done
Oh,
with
really?
so many others, other material. So,
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's still I have it on CD, but I have no inclination to want to buy it on vinyl.
Play it.
I play it once in a while.
I got The Wall. I haven't played it in 20 years.
You know, the thing I heard about The
probably haven't
Wall
played it in
is
a long time.
on the vinyl, they used to have, the US ones anyway, would have a PVC sticker here that says, Pink Floyd The Wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And if you just left it on and then you left your records inside and didn't play it for a long time, that the gases from that PVC sticker
Right.
would actually burn
Really?
through the cover and onto the vinyl of like record one. And when you played it, you could actually hear in the quiet parts like a where the
Right.
stylus would go over where
Really?
that.
There are a few. There's a recent record that I purchased of I would have to pull it out to remember. I did a video about it, but it has that, with picture discs, they have that particular plastic cover.
Yeah.
That's the plastic that over time,
Yeah, you don't want those.
the chemical will leach into not only your cover, but it's going to go through to the vinyl. So what I did is I took the cover and I made that separate, and then I have a separate sleeve for the record.
Yeah, if you have a PVC sleeve, I've seen 2 different videos on that now, and one of them is by the Beatles guy, the Parlogram Auctions.
He's the
and
first one I learned.
not
about.
only will it
Yes.
damage that record,
Yeah.
but the record on the other side of it. Like
Yeah.
if you've got all your records next to each other, it'll bleed through the back cover of the record next to it. So yeah, you definitely want to
It
get
was
rid of
his-
a lot of
it
picture
was-
discs come in those. And
it was his record. It was his video that clued me in on that, and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't want that to happen."
I've had an orange REM color vinyl orange REM thing that has no cover or anything. It just comes in a PVC sleeve, and I've never really played it, and I've kept it in that same sleeve for probably going on like 25 years now. And after I saw that video, I pulled it out and played it. Never played it before, and sure enough, it sounds like, it sounds like frying
Really?
bacon. Yeah.
Really? Wow. Back to The Wall. I don't.
Back to the wall, motherfucker.
No, back to The Wall. What Richard was saying. I just said I haven't listened to this album in 20 years. I literally have not put, and I got it. But man, it's probably one of the most important albums in my life.
Yeah, me too.
I listened to it over and over and
Me too.
over. When I was
I
15
did the
years
same
old,
thing.
14
It seemed
years
to
old.
speak to me
And
when I
then-
was like 15.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when the movie came out,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God, it took it to another fucking level.
Yeah.
Me and all my friends, we would go see that, and they would show it when it first came out. It was kind of like they would do like primetime showings, But then it immediately went to like a midnight movie, you know. So when Rocky Horror wasn't showing, it was The Wall, and we would go see The Wall. I bet I've seen that movie in a theater. I bet I've seen it 20 times.
I've never seen it in a theater. It never came around here.
Really?
Never.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
I
we
got
used
the
to
video.
do
I
it all
bought
the
the
time.
videotape. It was one of the first videotapes I ever legitimately bought the actual store-bought version.
Yeah. So it's a really important album in my life, but looking back, it's very bloated. It's a great story, but I mean, like I said, I haven't listened to it in years. I also don't listen to Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon is one of those albums I never need to hear again.
To me, The Wall was, I mean, it was saying everything that was already said in Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here. It was
kind of David Gilmour's reaction to that too. Is like, how many times are we going to explore Your Father Died in the War? Sid Barrett went crazy. I mean, how many times are we going to go over these same well-traveled?
Yeah, but it worked.
But it was.
I mean, The Wall obviously worked.
At that time, it was an immensely important album to me. It was like it was. I listened to it over and over and over again, and then I stopped listening to it. And then I played it again, and then I realized, wow, they're really not breaking any new ground here.
I wouldn't go that far, but
yeah, to me it was. It was like it was more.
You're also
self-indulgent because it was more focused on Roger Waters.
There's no doubt about that. But you're also, I mean, you're 5 years older than me, or maybe even more. I'm sorry, I don't want to call you out on your age, but there's that
year.
Like you remember when Dark Side of the Moon came out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't. So my impact when I was a kid was The Wall, because I remember when The Wall came out, especially the movie. And
all right, I'm with you, Robert.
So I mean, that might be why I mean, you remember when fucking Dark Side of the Moon came out.
Oh yes,
that's
I remember
crazy.
When that fucker came out, and
I was jizzed on my paper,
and you were probably blown away. Well, it also goes back to like what I said. Is Sgt. Pepper's my favorite Beatles record? No, it's like my 5th favorite Beatles record. But if I was alive, if I was like 15 when that record came out, maybe I'd have a different point of view on it. But now it's like, like I said, I don't care about Sgt. Pepper's.
I've always thought Revolver was so much better than
Revolver's their best.
Yeah, it is better.
So Rubber Soul is better. Fucking Help is better.
Yeah.
Than Sgt. Pepper.
Thank you,
I'm sorry,
Scotty.
but
y'all know the first time I ever heard The Wall all the way through in 2020.
Dear God.
I knew
you're
Another
so
Brick in the Wall because I roller skated.
Yeah, but what was your reaction to it? Because I'm thinking if you heard it that late, you were probably underwhelmed.
So somebody told me that I absolutely needed to listen to this album, and actually bought it for me, because at that point I owned no Pink Floyd, and yeah, there's lots of.
See, I don't think. I would hope that wouldn't be my first Pink Floyd experience, but it was.
It was mine too, and I had a beautiful bubble bath, and like two bottles of wine. And it was glorious.
Oh, I don't think beautiful bubble bath is the way you want to hear The Wall. You want to hear The Wall when your fucking life is shit.
A beautiful bubble bath.
He also shaved
2 bottles of wine.
His nipples when he was in the bubble bath.
I was like,
it's definitely not a beautiful bubble bath type album, I wouldn't think.
It was a beautiful bubble bath with 2 bottles of wine. Wine.
Like Emmy Lou.
And somebody's gonna throw a fucking toaster in that fucking bubble bath.
They did. They did, and I died, and then I was resurrected, and yeah.
I find that the most important records in my life. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. But
Say
a
it.
lot. No, I was going to say that a lot of the most important records that like formed me when I was younger, I don't listen to anymore. But then I'm like, no, because London Calling, I listen to all the time. Rubber
Well,
Soul, I listen to all the time. Revolver, I
Robert
listen to all the
is
time. But I don't
Robert
listen to.
is Robert has said that he likes Tommy better than Quadrophenia.
Oh
And
yeah, that's not even a
It's
question.
a much
yeah,
better.
so
I like it better because it's a better album. I think
Never
is
heard either
probably
one.
the
well,
reason for
you
that.
see, for me, I heard Tommy. I
That would
heard
be a good
Tommy when it
reason.
came out, and and it was wow. For me at that age, I was like what 10, maybe 11 years old, and I'm listening
Comments
to
on
this
that.
album, and I'm like, wow, this is like.
BB!
Hi,
Sorry, I
baby.
got excited.
Then
BB's here.
later, when I listened to Quadrophenia, when I was a little bit older, that one spoke to me so much
See,
more about the alienation between me and the rest of the. In fact, when I was 17, I was in like Catholic, even though I was like a total atheist, I was still going to Catholic catechism classes, and I played some songs from Quadrophenia to talk about the alienation that we were all feeling at that time. Because that's what spoke to me in
well,
Quadrophenia, the
I think,
whole alienation.
yeah, I think Quadrophenia has some of the Who's best moments of their entire career. But as a collective, as a whole album, I'm going with Tommy.
Well, and
I
then
just think Tommy
yeah,
is
I think Tommy
so.
has the better music, but Tommy is more of a personal thing to me too.
Yeah, there's always
I have a
that.
greatest
Yeah,
hits,
that's what
Yeah.
music is. Yeah, no, absolutely. But
I mean, I think I've told my story
there's
on here
some
before about
moments.
that, haven't I?
Yes,
But
yeah.
there's some
No,
moments.
and I
There's some
totally
moments on
get that.
Quadrophenia that
I
are
totally
absolutely
get that.
spectacular. Yeah, I mean, we all have them. The Wall for me. I mean, absolutely, Jesus.
Yeah.
I remember who I was sitting with
No
in the movie theater as we were
education.
watching The Wall. I remember my buddies. There were like 6 of us, and 2 of them are not with us anymore. And it's like
Never
I
seen it.
remember. I'll always remember those moments. Just being a little kid, we used to smoke fucking joints in the parking lot, and then we'd go into the midnight movie and we'd see The Wall. It was great. It was great.
You have.
Oh
no
my god,
choice.
that fucking this shit. What is that shit on popcorn?
Butter, salt,
No, those little things that get caught in your throat.
kernels,
No,
Kernels?
the things.
Popcorn.
Yeah, it's part of popcorn.
Pretty sure it's just called popcorn. Having a CD.
Jesus.
Rich
It's
is
like
sleeping
hot
into
on
my-
my fucking tongue. Thank you, Husk. I don't know. Oh,
husk,
Shane
whatever.
was-
It's not husk on popcorn,
It's a kernel.
is it?
it's the flake. It's that part on the outside of the kernel.
It's still called a kernel. I mean, when people
That
say
was-
I've got a popcorn thing stuck on my tooth or whatever, they say popcorn
Yeah.
kernel.
Yeah, boo Dewey. Yeah, in my throat.
Yeah, or in your throat. It's the popcorn kernel.
Yeah,
That they're
so-
saying.
Whatever.
Kill me.
Nobody says I've got a popcorn husk stuck in my
Nobody
tooth.
says Husk. I got.
Can you imagine?
I got
Yeah,
a
popcorn,
fucking-
a whole fucking
I got a-
husk stuck on
I
my
got a
tooth. Can you?
fucking
Yeah, just
husk.
pull it down. There you go.
I
You're
got a
done.
fucking husk caught in my throat. Well, maybe.
I've got a whole goddamn ear of popcorn
Oh wait.
caught in my tooth.
You're a
I'm like
popcorn.
number 2.
Right. I mean, come on. It's a kernel.
Yeah, whatever. Banana, tomato, tomato.
And what YouTube channel
No,
would
you were
find
asking,
that
and I'm
on?
answering you.
Well, no, you were like, I don't know. Hus equals small Alaskan dog. Thank you, Ergla.
That's a husky.
Erglu. That's a husky, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Right, so that's not correct.
Daisy is
Husk
Daisy a
does not
husky?
equal a small Alaskan dog
Uh-oh.
because
Uh-oh.
it should be husky equals
gonna
a
pee my
small
pants.
Alaskan dog.
Don't pee your pants. Give it
What
to
kind of
Mama.
shot are you doing?
It's all I have. It's tequila rose.
What's that? Tequila?
It's kind of like
It's
Tequila
strawberry
Mockingbird, but
tequila.
it's not as
It's what? What did you say?
It's not as pompous.
What?
Okay, that might
This
be
one-
the funniest thing
this one's
ever
not a
said on a
carnation.
gunkle.
Craig, are you drinking
yeah,
real
It's
liquor?
really cool.
Yes, it's real. It's fucking
It's true.
strawberry tequila. Tequila.
Strawberry tequila. What proof is it?
Strawberry.
15%.
15?
Yeah, is that not real?
God, that's like only 40 proof.
He's
Yeah.
drinking schnapps.
It's a pussy drink.
It's seriously it's the only thing I
94
have. It's
proof
the only
here.
thing I have to fucking shoot, guys. Yes, see,
Then you
Paul
need to
likes
do a
it when
double
I'm
shot.
solo.
What the hell? A 12-inch record on one and 7 on the other, or one record across both with a sphincter as the spindle hole.
What?
That's tawdry.
What the hell?
Chris!
I was just asking somebody in a bar today about Malort. And basically drinking Malort is like
Again,
drinking
which-
something out of an old
What kind of
sweaty
spindle
shoe.
hole are we talking? This one?
Okay,
This
Richard
one?
Malort.
Oh my god. Can I just say to Shane, and you all aren't going to get this, but Shane will, the black hole of Calcutta.
Okay, well, there was some promiscuous person in Calcutta that you referred to as that name, I would assume.
Yeah.
right, now,
Absolutely.
Craig.
See, you said nobody else would get. That's
Double
pretty
shot.
easy to get that.
Yeah, but
It's just-
Shane
You
knows,
need to drink
Shane
a
knows
double
the first
shot.
is Christy, but bigger small hole.
Hey,
Oh,
bitch,
wait,
you need to drink a
right.
double shot. You need to drink twice
Okay, that's all I'm doing.
Right.
because this is 94
that's
proof
nasty.
right here. I ain't letting you slide on this.
So, Richard, you were talking about Malort?
Shane
What?
talking about a
I've lit-
Malort.
Is the Chicago. You have to drink Malort
Right,
when you come to
right,
Chicago.
yeah,
I've lived in Chicago
I
for
was-
44
What the
years.
fuck is Malort?
Which is
Doesn't
what
Prince sing about that in
absinthe,
the song Housequake?
absinthe used to have
My
wormwood
lord!
in it.
My lord!
And
Bullshit!
wormwood used to be banned.
Housequake!
So I'm like, what the fuck, man? Is wormwood now legal?
You've never had Malort?
No,
I
I've
know,
had
what the
absinthe,
fuck?
but
I
I've
am
never had
fucking
Malort.
Googling Malort because I don't know what the fuck it is.
Jesus Christ! I drank this whole fucking
Superstar.
bottle of wine.
It's
Yeah,
2 in the
I had-
morning. I'm surprised you didn't
3,
drink
4,
3.
5, 6, 7, and I don't know how much of this I drank.
That's 2 bottles.
Are we done?
Yes.
You're close.
1963. Next
Superstar.
time.
Oh yeah, 1963. And right.
Thank you so much for watching the whole 8 hours of this nonsense.
It was good times.
Yeah, it was fun.
Always.
It
Always.
was like I don't know,
Oh, I
like
love you guys.
being in somewhere.
It's cathartic.
Okay, yes. We are the Vinyl
And-
Communities.
Yeah, we're
I'm
the
Robert
we're the
Fitton.
Guncles. Let your last words be
Did
in.
I just say we're the Vinyl Communities?
we're the
Gee,
the
say something
Guncles.
like that.
We're Guncles. We're French.
Robert, wrap it up.
I'm Robert Fitton, along with...
Richard, Calvin Wazoo.
Craig's Vinyl Pluff. Flora.
Mike.
Oh, there you go.
And that's Robert in his underpants.
Robert in his underpants.
Underpants. I'm sorry.
These are not pants. You can't call something that stops at your thigh a pant.
They're underpants. They're under your pants. Yes, I can call them that. Robert.
Did we say all the names?
No, Mike.
Yeah, we did.
Mike, did you tell us who you were?
He's the guy with the coffee in his dryer. So you had to be
I
watching
was
at the very
coffee and
beginning for
dryer.
that.
What are you talking about, Mike?
We love you all.
It's a Lent joke.
I
Oh.
Join us again next time. Thank
I'm
you so much for
Mormon.
watching.
Yes.
I'm gonna take off my shirt.
Oh wait. Oh,
Yeah, nipples.
Nepo.
Oh my God! Wow. So
And
should we
we're-
keep it rolling or?
Well, let's do another nipple.
Thanks again for watching.
Yes.
Appreciate it. We'll do this again sometime. Good night, everyone.
Will we?
Good night.
Good night.